Hey guys, this is my second episode of Brain Candy. In this one, we are going to talk about the chakra system. We are going to talk about energy and psychology and how these tie into each other. We're not just going to be talking about the seven well known chakras, we're also going to be talking about the higher or supernal chakras and how this fits into the whole scheme. And we're also going to get into how some of this relates to our brain. So first off, seven basic chakras. We have the root chakra, traditionally located at your perineum. Traditional color is red. Then we have your sacral chakra, right around the belly button, inside the body. Um, Traditional color is orange. Your solar plexus chakra at that nerve bundle, which is the solar plexus, also sometimes referred to as the second brain, because it is the largest nerve cluster in your body after the brain, and has some interesting muscle control functions and all that stuff. Um, then we have your heart chakra, traditionally colored green, your throat chakra, traditionally colored blue, your third eye, traditionally colored indigo, and your crown, traditionally colored violet. Now, as far as why these colors have been attributed to these chakras, it all has to do with what happens when you break light through a prism. You get seven colors, which are our basic visual spectrum. And those seven colors, incidentally, are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Uh, with red being the slowest vibration, if you're actually looking at the wavelength, it's the slowest one. And violet being really fucking fast and small. And everything else falling in between. So it's just kind of a logical correlation when you're looking at the root chakra as being the densest energy chakra, the crown being the least dense, that, the lowest vibrational color, the slowest vibrational color is going to be in the root, and so on and so forth. How that ties into psychology, I'm going to call up Timothy Leary's eight circuit theory of psychology. Tim Leary was a Harvard psych professor. Um, he was really big in studies on psychotropics and LSD, and that muddled his career up just a little bit. But his work was instrumental in the birth of the New Age movement, the birth of the Rainbow Family movement, which much of the root of modern neo-paganism, at least in the United States, can be traced back to that Rainbow Family movement, to the psychedelic movement of the late 60s and early 70s. And Timothy Leary, this psychology professor, was an instrumental figure in that. Now, his eight circuit theory broke human cognition into what he called eight circuits, or eight general classifications, and these correlate into the evolution of the human mind and the human brain coming from earlier species. So, his first circuit could be called the reptilian mind. Uh, General way to classify this: fucking, fighting, defecating, and territory. It's all about the root chakra. Okay? Um, so, circuit number one: survival instincts, food, shelter to an extent when necessary, um, procreating, purely for the sake of procreating. We're not talking about love at this point in time. And of course, defecation is important, especially for mammals. Defecation is a big thing for marking territory. It's how apex predators mark their territory. Second circuit. Oh, what did he call this one? It was the first mammal circuit, but it's present in others. It's also present in birds, fish, all kinds of different things. The mammalian is the fourth circuit. I forget what the middle two are called. I haven't read this book in probably 8 or 9 years, but the functions of the second circuit relate to herd mentality, to belonging and membership within family groups and extended groups. And you see this as an evolution beyond the reptilian brain, because reptiles, generally speaking, are very solitary. They'll meet another reptile wants to mate, but they lay their eggs. They don't even take care of the kids. I mean, the egg hatches, it's on its own. It is a solitary life focused on survival, eating, defecating, asserting territory, fighting, mating. So the second circuit, which correlates wonderfully to what tradition tells us about the sacral chakra, is when you get group membership. And that's where a healthy sacral chakra is going to help you have your place in society and feel like you belong. Okay, then we have the third circuit, and this is where Leary's definition diverges a little bit from traditional yogic definition, if we're correlating to the chakras, which I think is an intensely necessary correlation. Leary's third circuit is the first development of intellect, spatial perception, and the ability to correlate knowledge about one event and apply it to another event. And this is where you see animals operating on more than just instinct. Animals that think, birds that can remember a place, go back to that place, differentiate between good food and bad, differentiate between different members of their own herd or flock. In the yogic tradition, this is associated with willpower, which ties in, interestingly, with Leary's whole eight circuit theory, in that when you have a herd, the less complicated, the less sophisticated beings don't have a leader. The more complex, particularly the predators, tend to have a leader, one who is more dominant than the others. You see this in wolf packs, you see this in prides of lions, you see this in a lot of different species where you have one member of this herd or pack or whatever that dictates the behavior of all the others, the alpha. And this, in yogic thinking, is correlated to the sacral chakra. In Lyrian thinking, it correlates more to intellectual superiority, the ability to know more. Then we have the heart chakra, which is where Leary calls this the first truly mammalian brain, but again, I think that's slightly misguided in that mammals are not the only ones to care for their young. Birds do too, but the idea here being that the heart produces love, which is a totally illogical emotion. It does not serve any purpose in the survival of the organism experiencing it. It does serve the purpose, though, of ensuring that the young survive. And this is the primitive beginning of what the heart chakra and the fourth circuit of our psychology is all about. It's the ability to experience an emotion for the benefit of another being, something that does not contribute to you having more or surviving longer. It might actually detract significantly from your own survivability. This is the root of love within our biological function. Okay? Then we have the throat chakra. This is where we get into communication. This is where you have animals developing complex verbal systems for the sharing of information. This is where, as humans, we have obviously very, very sophisticated ways of communicating information to each other. And how we communicate dictates a lot of our position within the herd. It dictates so much about our lives and about our perception of ourselves. You know, self-talk is all about the throat chakra. What kind of person do you believe you are? Are you engaging in positive self-talk or negative self-talk? What is this doing to the rest of your energy? Third eye. That's where we get into psychic cognition. This is where we get into intuition, telepathy, that kind of thing. Seventh chakra, the crown chakra. Oh, what does he call it? Meta something or another. This is where, from the Lyrian standpoint, also in more modern transpersonal thought, we have the ability to look at ourselves from a step removed. We look at the functions of our own minds, our own beliefs, our own thoughts. It's this crown chakra, it's this seventh circuit that gives us the ability to step back and look at ourselves objectively. And then the eighth circuit, in Lyrian theory, allows us to look at the mechanism by which we analyze ourselves. So there's the mechanism by which we analyze ourselves, and then there's the mechanism by which we analyze how we're analyzing. And you can step it back from there. Okay. Now, the important thing to understand about these chakras and about thought itself is that it's not just a little spot. Okay. It's an energy field that surrounds us. Your thoughts and your emotions have substance. That's why you can feel people's emotions hitting you. Yeah, there are some chemical cues to go with that, some body language, but you can feel someone looking at your back because of their attention on you, the energy focusing. All right? So each chakra is the center of this big field of energy. And each one of these fields, going from the densest, slowest vibration to the highest, fastest vibration, is where a certain type of thought and feeling occurs. In our root chakra, it's this huge field, this huge reddish field, and that's where our guttural instincts come from. Or our, not even guttural or visceral, technically those adjectives aren't right, but it's where our most survival-oriented urges and feelings are coming from. And then our next energy field up, and they permeate through each other. Okay, don't get too caught up on three-dimensional spatial geometry. These fields are interpenetrating each other all throughout. Okay, each area of your mind, each field of energy interpenetrating with all the others. And so you have complex correlations between your love, your group membership, your sexuality, your communication, your intuitive perceptions. It's all interrelated, your willpower, because these fields are permeating each other. And the chakra locations are just the focal point of each individual layer of this thought emotion field that is our conscious self in this reality. The eighth chakra, and the ninth, and the 10th, and the 11th, and 12th, and way beyond, and beyond, and beyond. These are nexus points where we connect to other incarnate souls. Okay? A lot of people think of the 8th chakra as the soul chakra. And if you can raise your consciousness into the 8th chakra, you can actually find that part of yourself that is one and the same with certain other people, your tight-knit soul family. When you're in the presence of someone who is very closely related soul family to you, and you're both thinking out of your 8th chakra, you will cease to perceive yourself as generating the thought and them receiving it, or them generating a thought and you receiving it. You, the big you, will be having thoughts, and both monkeys will be perceiving the thoughts simultaneously, but neither brain generating it. Okay? And then you get into the 9th chakra, and it's a nexus point of even more conscious emanations from the source. It's like a spider web, and the higher you go in your chakras, the closer you're getting to the central creative power that's holding so many souls into formation. In the Matrix trilogy, those movies, the spot in the middle where Neo meets with the architect, there are all these screens showing all these different human lives. That's kind of what your 9th chakra is like, a few thousand screens or masks that you can look through into the lives of other people. So truly gifted psychic work is rooted not in your 3rd eye or your heart chakra. It's rooted in your 8th, 9th, 10th chakras and beyond, because this is what allows you to connect with a broader and broader and broader variety of people and truly understand them and understand the larger cycles that we're going through as a species. Okay? Now, how this all fits in with the brain, because if your brain is damaged, your personality will change. There is a synergistic relationship between your 7 chakras, your own individuated consciousness, and your brain. Okay, your brain formulates the energy impacts the brain. So brain damage creates a reciprocal effect. But your 8th, ninth, 10th chakras, these are your immortal ones. These are the ones that when your little monkey suit dies, they don't go away. Okay, your 7 chakras fade out when your primate dies. But the root of your being, your conscious awareness, retreats to the next higher root prior to reincarnation in this plane or any other plane. Okay, so there are some thoughts on chakras and energy for you. Some beliefs, I guess you could call them. And you know what? Oh, yes. One more thing I want to bring up. Sometimes certain chakras will turn different colors. And this relates back to what the old Jews would call climbing the ladder of lights, or drawing the energy of your supernal chakras into your physical form. That's where this green heart chakra of a normal, healthy human function will begin to emanate pink. Because for some reason, I don't know why it turns pink, but when we have this supernal energy emanating through the heart chakra, it burns from green into this amazing pink field. And this is where you have all this power of love, magic, is when the heart chakra is burning pink. When the crown chakra turns white, that's like the whole thing fucking heating up from a higher quantity of energy interaction, faster energy transaction happening. There's also the concept of unifying your chakra field, because you have all these overlapping fields. If you can get them all operating in harmony, all 7 operating in harmony, with the 8th drawn down to the core, you get a unified, brilliant field. And that's where you'll meet certain characters, or many of us at certain times when the stars align, our auras will burn white or even gold as the chakras unify. So yeah, that's brain candy for this week. Hope you enjoy.